why marketing is so much harder and so much easier in the year 2020.
Hello, Tom. I know about your success, about your YouTube channel. I am sure that you are going to be expanding and growing more and more. Saludos, Tomás.
I'm a really old guy. I've done marketing in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 2010s, in the 2020, right? And, I've done marketing in a time where there was no internet. There was no Facebook, there was no Google. If you want to do advertising, there was only TV, radio, and newspaper, and that's it. Nobody was using the internet. And there was no Facebook. I know it's really hard to imagine a world where there's no Facebook or Google. Most countries have maybe 3 or 4, big TV network, right? So if you turn on the TV, there was maybe 3 or 4 or 5 channels. Probably the true here in Vietnam too. I know that in North America, there weren't that many channels because TV was not digital. TV relied on airwaves, and you cannot carry too many channels on airwaves. If you wanted to do advertising, you want to do marketing in the 80s, 90s, it was very simple. You have not a whole lot of choices. You either get on TV, or you get on radio, or you get into newspapers. That's it. No internet, no Facebook, no Google. All right? So I would say marketing in those times, 80, 90, early 2000s, was actually very easy because you don't have a lot to choose from, right? So in fact, if you want to be famous, just get on TV. People will see you because there's not a lot of choices. Most people only watch 3 or 4 or 5 channels, right? So it was very easy to become a guru. Like here, I'm making these videos every day, and I got 7,000-ish subscribers now, and it's hard work. But back then, all you have to do is just buy TV time. Let's say I go buy TV time from after 12 o'clock midnight, and then I will be instantly famous. So this is how people like Tony Robbins, right? I know you know Tony Robbins. That's how he got started. He started buying TV time and put his face on TV, and now everybody thinks he's like an expert, right? And that's how he got started. And there's a lot of people like that, like Tom Wu, the real estate guru.
Or you can even buy a Rolls Royce. Come to my seminar. I show you how to make all kind of money.
He did the same thing. He bought a lot of TV time after 12 o'clock, and he put his face on TV, and then everybody knew him. Everybody knew him as the real estate guru. There's a lot of people like that. And it was not hard to become famous back in those times because people only have very few options to find entertainment, find news, and TV was it. And I did a lot of marketing back then too. And I can tell you this, I never have to spend any money because usually I have a really good story. I won't tell you too much, but I usually approach TV, radio, newspaper with a very good story, and they all write about it. They always take my story and put it on TV, put it in the radio. They interview me on the radio. They put my story in the newspaper. It was very simple because, TV, radio, newspaper, they also need content. So I bring them the content. They're happy to use it. It was not a hard thing to do. I was pretty clever at getting free press, right? I was actually very good at it. I get a lot of free press that way. If you have to pay for press, however, back then, it was very expensive to get TV time, all right? It was very expensive to get radio time. Less expensive, but still expensive to get radio time. Newspaper ads are expensive, right? The choices of media to advertise are very few. So those channels tend to be expensive because everybody is competing for those same channels, right? So that was the situation back then. But today, situation is completely different. How many channels there are on TV today? I don't know. Check it out. There's probably 100, 200 channels, right? How many newspapers are there? Oh, there's probably plenty, right? In Vietnam, well, there are some newspapers, but in Canada, anybody can start a newspaper, right? So there's lots of choices, and they're all on the internet or they're in print. And today you have Facebook, you have Google, you have, Google Display Network. You can put ads in any website you want, almost any website you want. You can put ads in Facebook because people use Facebook a lot. People check newsfeed, right? There's so many choices. There's so many places you can put, advertising, right? In so many different channels. And there are even some people that don't watch TV anymore. I know that a lot of my employees don't watch TV. I ask them, hey, do you watch TV? No, they don't watch TV. So TV may not be the best channel to advertise your products or services. So there are a lot of choices. So when there's a lot of choices, it's more difficult, right? It's more difficult to do marketing in the year 2020. But I want to say it's harder and easier, okay? Harder because now marketing is very specialized, right? You have digital marketers that focus on Facebook, that focus on Google. There's a lot of knowledge you need to know to run an effective marketing campaign, right? It's much harder in that regard compared to, the 1980s, 1990s. But at the same time, Google and Facebook give you tools that help you target your customers. Because when you run advertising on TV or on radio, on newspaper, or on billboards on the side of the street, you can't really target. You're basically just sending your ads out and hoping that you hit the right people. But Facebook and Google allows you to target your target customers. So you can target people that are interested in your product. If you sell shoes, for example, you can target people that are very interested or passionate about fashion, because Facebook and Google, they collect data about people, about individuals, about users, and they know this user likes this user likes that, and they will put your ad in front of them, right? This is technology that did not exist in the 80s or 90s, right? So I would say it's harder and easier. Harder because there's so much more to know. You gotta know so many more things. You gotta build technical skills to do Facebook and Google marketing, right? And it's easier because once you know how to do it, you can target better. You can find your customers more precisely if you know how to use those tools, right? So it is harder and it's easier. And my recommendation to you is that, really look into digital marketing, Facebook and Google, because those are really the modern day, tools to help you reach customers, right? If you don't understand Facebook or Google, make sure you hire people that understand Facebook or Google. And I can tell you that in Vietnam, those people are very, 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 very few, all right? The good ones are very few. And but to really build your business, to do effective marketing, you need a strong Facebook and Google strategy, because that's where most people are. Most people find their products and services by going to Google and search. They go to the search engine and search what they need. Where can I find, hair salons, right? And then that's how they find hair salons, right? In Google. And everybody's on Facebook. Everybody, all the time, every day they're on Facebook. They don't even watch TV now. They're just like on Facebook. So if you don't know how to use Facebook to reach your customers, then you are really at a disadvantage. So learn how to use Facebook, how to use Google. You can use Google to put advertising into, newspaper sites like VN Express, like Tinte, like brands, like, so many newspaper sites. You can put your ads there through Google, right? What else? You can use YouTube. You can advertise in YouTube. So when you watch my video, there's probably an ad that pop up, before you can see my video. That is an ad, right? So, learn how to do those things. And that will help your business grow, because those are very targeted advertising. And if you know how to take advantage of it, you are gonna find new customers, you're gonna find new sources of revenue, and that is how you do marketing in the 2020. I do miss the 80s, I do miss the 90s, because honestly, I really took advantage of a lot of free press because I always have an interesting story to tell, and the journalists love me, the radio people love me because they always give me airtime. They let me talk on radio because I always want to tell people some amazing, crazy story, and they love that. So if you know how to leverage press, that will also help your business grow massively. Take fucking action and don't be a fucktard.